Chosen one, this moment is not a coincidence. Your soul was drawn to this video because the heavens whispered the same message to you 7 times. The number 1111 didn't appear before your eyes for nothing, and the prayers of 33 prophets did not fall upon you by chance. You are one of the 144,000 chosen, and your presence here is a divine sign. This message was sent to awaken the secret that has been resting within your heart. What you are about to hear are not just words, but divine vibrations that will sink deep into your soul. If these words are touching you, leave your heart in the comments so the heavens can witness your testimony. Because when you write, another soul will awaken. Now prepare yourself, for this video will illuminate your path. Those who recognize the signs of God know that nothing is random. That's why your being here is already a miracle. Our goal is clear: 1,000 voices united. Every subscriber, every like, every comment gets us closer. Stand with chosen Archangel today. Have you ever questioned why some members of your own family, those who are descended from you, see you with silent animosity? Why is it that when you achieve, the people who ought to be applauding you are sometimes the ones who appear most uneasy? Why there seems to be a secret tension in the air when you enter the room, as though something inside of them is disturbed by your very existence? This message has come to you just in time, chosen one. And I want you to pay close attention because it will alter your self-perception and how you interact with those closest to you. This isn't just an accident. Your spirit was brought here because you are prepared to face the truth, as evidenced by the fact that you are currently watching this video. Why do they treat me this way? Is a question you've undoubtedly asked yourself many times. Why does my own family exhibit so much implicit coldness and jealousy? You have self-doubt. You've pondered whether you might be the issue. But pay close attention to me. The issue is not with you. The selected one is you. And this silent resentment, this envy, this venom, your weakness is not the source of it. Your light is the source of it. I want you to understand. People that share your DNA are frequently the ones who hate you the most, rather than complete strangers. And the explanation is straightforward. Even though you can't see it completely yet, they can sense the weight, destiny, and light that your spirit bears. Something different exudes from your soul. And they are triggered by that difference. Some are unable to explain it. Some people's spirits sense it before their minds do, even if they aren't aware of it. They are reminded of their potential by you. You remind them of the things they decided not to go after. And just by being who you are, you reflect their shortcomings. I want you to be aware of this fact, chosen one. You don't have to justify yourself to others or plead for their favor. You were not made to meet their standards, thus the more you strive to fit in, the more miserable you will feel. You were made to rise beyond them, to be different, to carry a divine mission that transcends generational patterns, above family customs, and beyond what your kin may ever understand. Their spirit struggles when you are around because of this. They don't detest you. That's what you stand for. You stand for liberty, fate, and divine intent. You need to hear this message immediately because, once you do, you won't waste time wondering why they don't applaud you. Their side remarks or quiet will make you cease doubting your value. You'll see it for what it truly is, which is confirmation. Their animosity validates your anointing. Their uneasiness validates your light. Their hatred validates your fate. If this speaks to you, please take a moment right now and leave a comment below. I want to know if this message is reaching your soul directly, therefore type 777 or 4444, whichever number is tugging at your spirit as you read these words. Additionally, let this serve as a declaration to yourself that you are aware of what is going on. You see it, you comprehend it, and you are becoming more conscious. Before we go any further, be sure to press the bell symbol and subscribe to the Rise of the Chosen channel so you don't miss these transformative teachings. You never know whose life might be changed simply by hearing this reality, therefore share this video with someone else who might be dealing with familial anger and silence. Let's now embark on this path of understanding together. Because what I'm going to tell you will not only clarify why some of your family members despise you, but it will also relieve you of the anguish and confusion that have plagued you for too long. Select one and pay close attention. Now is the time for you to awaken. Music, the chosen spiritual mark. Selected one. Before you can ever comprehend why some people, including your family, feel the way they do about you, you must first grasp why you are unique. You have an indelible spiritual mark, a divine stamp on your life. And you stand out from the crowd because of that mark. It isn't something you worked for yourself. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't get rid of it. It is the unseen crown on your head, the proof of your calling. And you've had it since birth. You most likely realized early on that you were different from everyone else. You had a deeper sense. You were able to see through pretenses and lies. It seems that you were unusually wise for your age. You might have even been informed that you were unique. Sometimes with admiration, and other times with annoyance. It wasn't a coincidence. You were unique. A higher frequency was tuned into your soul. And when people are around you, they sense it whether they realize it or not. This is particularly felt by relatives because the energy exchange is heightened by the blood tie. They see more than simply a child, a brother, or a cousin. They feel as though fate itself is present. They become uneasy because it serves as a reminder that you are more than just a member of the family. You are the one who has been asked to defy expectations, overcome obstacles, and take the family name to new heights. One cannot conceal such a calling. There is a shift as soon as you enter a room. Your energy talks even if you don't say anything. Your aura is proof. When you are nearby, people who are spiritually blind might not comprehend why they feel suddenly insecure, annoyed, or small. Their spirit, however, knows your brightness deep within. It's like trying to hold a lamp in a dark room. The shadows are unable to remain silent. They have to respond. And the response frequently manifests as passive anger, gossip, or jealousy. It is not a curse to bear this mark of the selected. It is a blessing even though it can feel weighty at times. It indicates that someone trusted you with something important. It indicates that the divine decided to assign you a task that no one else could complete. You are attacked more frequently as a result. You are more misinterpreted as a result. That's why you have to deal with unjust battles. The resistance increases with the level of calling. However, allow me to remind you of this. There is no need to apologize for being different. It is something to welcome. Your gift is your difference. Your individuality is evidence that you are here to stand out rather than blend in. You are not here to follow in everyone else's footsteps. You're here to forge a new route, to shine a light so bright that people will ultimately realize that you're under heavenly influence. Family members might whisper. They might be in competition. They can even attempt to demoralize you. What has already been published about you, however, cannot be changed by any of that. Even before you breathed your first breath, your fate was set. You were selected long before you understood what the selected word meant. And all forms of animosity and attacks are only evidence of the richness you possess. I want you to take a moment to process this reality, chosen one. You wouldn't be targeted if you were normal. No one is envious of mediocrity. No one is angry over something they don't value. Whether your family members acknowledge it or not, they value you, which is the exact reason you experience the reactions you do. The brightness you bring is visible to others. Furthermore, their own fears turn it into bitterness rather than a cause for celebration. However, their emotions cannot alter who you are. Nothing will ever change the fact that you were selected. You could try to conceal it. To keep the peace, you can strive to be modest. However, your spirit is uncontrollable. Because that is who you are, the divine will always put you in circumstances where you must shine your light. You are a breaker of chains and a bearer of destiny. Because of this, your path seems distinct from others. In the following section, I will disclose the profound spiritual origins of jealousy and animosity, as well as the reasons why this energy frequently manifests itself most forcefully in families. But before we go any farther, I want you to think about this for a moment. In your life, are you aware of the mark of the chosen? Have you seen this change when you were a child? In order for me to know that you are living in accordance with this reality, please enter 9,999 in the comments if you know deep down that this is you. The characteristics of wrath and envy. Now that you know the spiritual mark that makes you unique, chosen one, we need to delve deeper into why that mark evokes jealousy and animosity, particularly within your own family. One of the oldest spiritual poisons is envy. It's more than just a feeling. It is a spiritual illness, a heart condition that erodes one's tranquility. Furthermore, when someone feels that way about you, they frequently find it difficult to even articulate it to themselves. They just don't feel comfortable around you. They might grin. Despite their outward displays of solidarity, their true nature betrays them. What makes you feel envious? It's a comparison. Envy arises when someone sees a reflection of themselves in you, of what they are not, of what they could have been, or of what they secretly wish they were. For this reason, family members frequently experience it the most. They are aware of your origins. They are aware of your origins. They have witnessed your maturation. Nevertheless, you succeed in ways they cannot, even though you share the same surroundings, family, and occasionally even challenges. They can't match the strength you possess. They can't understand the favor you stroll in. What disturbs them is this. Instead of being inspired or encouraged, their unresolved insecurities turn that awareness into bitterness. They would rather resent your light than face their own shadows. They ask themselves, how come we came from the same place, but you shine in a way I don't? How come we share the same blood, but your path is different? Envy is illogical, which is why it is so dangerous. It doesn't matter if you have done anything wrong, if you are kind, humble, or even selfless. In fact, sometimes the more genuine and humble you are, the more envy you arouse because your sincerity reveals their false pretenses, and your calmness draws attention to their chaos. Chosen one. You must understand that envy is a spiritual battle rather than a personal one, which is why you cannot take it personally when relatives express resentment. It is not really about you as an individual, but rather about what you represent. Your joy reminds them of their emptiness. Your resilience makes them question their weakness. Think about Cain and Abel. Cain did not hate Abel because Abel had wronged him. You symbolize destiny fulfilled, divine favor, and the prospect that life could be greater than what they settled for. For some people, that is too much to endure. This is the nature of envy. It turns blessings into targets. Similarly, your relatives may feel that your blessings, your strength, and your calling diminish them, but the truth is that your light does not take away from theirs. Cain hated Abel because Abel's offering was accepted because Abel's favor revealed Cain's lack. It only shows what is possible when someone walks in accordance with divine purpose. Envy, if left unchecked, breeds resentment. Little feelings of insecurity can eventually develop into backhanded compliments, needless arguments, silent competition, and even outright hostility. As the chosen one, you will frequently stand perplexed, wondering, what did I do to deserve this? But keep in mind that it has nothing to do with what you accomplished. They call you arrogant when you are simply confident. They call you lucky when you are simply faithful, and your very existence serves as a reminder to them of the decisions they did not make, the courage they lacked, and the risks they were too scared to take. But rather than looking inward and healing those wounds, they project their disappointment onto you. Romans 10 verse 17 says, faith comes by hearing. Help more people hear. Subscribe, like, and comment to get us to 1,000 subscribers. It is their burden, not yours, to keep your energy, keep your peace, and keep walking in your light. You cannot dim yourself to make them comfortable, because even if you did, their spirit would still recognize who you are. The glow cannot be hidden. They call you different as if it were an insult, but in truth, it is your greatest blessing. For this reason, you must not let envy make you bitter in return. Envy is a spiritual reality for the selected, and no amount of justification or accommodation will ever be able to take away its presence. This does not imply you should put up with disrespect or maltreatment. You must set limits and maintain your individuality. I want you to stop here and think about this. Have you ever seen this pattern in your life? Have you ever felt the cold stars, the subtle remarks, the incomprehensible resistance? If so, you are not alone. The scriptures warn us that a prophet is not without honor except in his own country, among his own kin, and in his own house. The resentment of relatives is an ancient pattern that repeats itself through every generation. In the next section, we will delve even further into the dynamics of family conflict and why it is often those closest to you who struggle the most with your destiny. If this truth is speaking to you right now, type 3I33 in the comments as your affirmation that you are the one breaking the chains in your family. Let this fact sink in first, though. Envy is not your fault, and their resentment is not your fault. Rather, it is proof that your light is shining exactly as it should. The family conflict dynamic has been selected, and now we must face one of the most agonizing realities: family conflict. It is one thing to encounter resistance from strangers, but it is even more painful when it comes from individuals who share your name, family, and history. Nevertheless, it is frequently the people closest to you who find it most difficult to embrace your light. This has been the worst wound for many of you. The reason for this is found in the very bond of family itself, which in addition to love carries expectations, traditions, and unhealed wounds that have been passed down through generations. When you rise, you do not just rise as an individual, but as a representative of your entire bloodline, and that reality evokes a range of emotions. While some relatives will view your rise as a sign of hope, others will see it as a threat. Relatives have a mental picture of who you should be based on the child they saw growing up, based on their own limited understanding of your potential, so they are unable to celebrate you because doing so would require them to acknowledge their own stagnation. Know this: when you break out of that mold, when you start manifesting greatness that defies their expectations, it upends their reality. The reason you feel that resistance at family gatherings, why conversations feel tense, why compliments sound hollow, and why silence often greets your victories is not because they don't see your worth, but rather because they would rather keep you in the box they built for you than acknowledge that your calling has surpassed their imagination. There's something deeper going on, something spiritual, and they see it too clearly, and that clarity hurts them because it makes them confront the reality of their own limitations. Families carry patterns, cycles of poverty, brokenness, fear, or dysfunction that are passed down from one generation to the next. The chosen one is typically sent to break these so-called generational curses. When you rise, think differently, or choose a different path, you are not only making personal decisions, you are upending spiritual systems that have been in place for decades or even centuries. Family conflict feels so heavy, so irrational, so inexplicable because those systems fight back, often through the very people closest to you. When you choose one, you are not only dealing with human personalities, you are facing spiritual resistance that uses those personalities as vessels. You may think, but I haven't done anything to them. All I've done is try to love them, but the tension still exists. The reason you are frequently misunderstood is because the battle is spiritual rather than physical. It is the darkness in your lineage attempting to stop the one who is carrying the light. Your family members may accuse you of being arrogant, of believing you are superior to them when you are simply following your calling, or they may label you aloof because you set boundaries to preserve your peace. It is difficult for them to believe that someone from their own family could overcome the burden that has held everyone else down. They may accuse you of betraying them because you refuse to engage in the same destructive cycles, but the truth is that they hate you for who you refuse to stop becoming, not for who you are. The story of the chosen has always been this: Joseph's brothers hated him because his dreams revealed a destiny greater than theirs, and David was hated by his own brothers when he came to the battlefield. Your courage exposes their fear, your discipline exposes their laziness, and your faith exposes their doubt. As a result, they resist you instead of honoring you. Every chosen one has experienced family conflict, every breaker of chains has had to go through it, and even Jesus was doubted and dishonored by his own family. Therefore, realize, chosen one, that family conflict is not a sign that you are failing, but rather that you are walking in the very pattern of greatness itself. It's a reason to be even more proud, but here's the advice you need to cling to: don't allow resentment to fester inside of you. You can't afford to harbor resentment toward people who are angry with you. Their conflict is their burden. Your task is to remain focused. If you waste energy battling them, you lose sight of your goal. Therefore, I speak this over you today. May you ascend confidently, knowing that you are chosen, equipped, and guided, and may you no longer spend energy on confusion, carry the weight of rejection, or attempt to persuade those who cannot see. You are chosen, and those who are chosen cannot be stopped. Take this message as your sign, chosen one. This is your awakening moment. From now on, see their resentment for what it is, not a wound, but a weapon in your favor, not a roadblock, but a stepping stone, not the end, but the beginning of your ascent. I want you to indicate your agreement in the comments before you leave. Type 777 to show the world that you are awake, conscious, and in alignment with your destiny. Don't forget to subscribe to Rise of the Chosen. This will confirm that you have received this word, that you are prepared to rise, and that you will no longer allow resentment to hold you back. I leave you with this: your enemies will see you rise, and your relatives will see you change. Tap the bell icon so you never miss a message. And share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Someone in your circle is struggling silently with the pain of family resentment, and your share might just be the key that unlocks their healing. Continue walking boldly because your time has come. If you spend your life trying to convince people to love you, you are delaying the very destiny you were chosen for. Instead, hold your boundaries with strength and your heart with compassion. Forgive them, but do not compromise your path to make them comfortable. And those who doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge that the hand of the divine has always been upon you. I want you to write 33 in the comments if you are feeling this word piercing your soul right now and you know that you are the one in your family who was sent to break patterns and rise above generational chains. Love them, but don't let their conflict derail you. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is to keep rising, keep shining, and let your life testify louder than any argument ever could. In the next section, I will demonstrate why destiny cannot be concealed and why your relatives cannot stop what has been divinely appointed in your life, despite their best efforts, because your purpose is greater than their hatred. That is your declaration that you understand your role as the one chosen to shift the entire bloodline. No matter how much you try to blend in, no matter how much your relatives may want to ignore or suppress what is on you, the light of destiny cannot be covered. It is like a fire. The resentment cannot erase what has already been written. Destiny cannot be hidden. Chosen one. Now you must comprehend one of the most powerful truths about your life. It finds a way to burn through, no matter how hard you try to suppress it or how silent you try to be. For this reason, whether you wanted attention or not, whether you wanted recognition or not, people notice you. They may not clap or praise you, but they cannot deny the obvious fact that you carry something they do not. Reflect on your life. It is not a coincidence, it is the mark of destiny. Chosen ones cannot conceal their calling because it was never intended to be concealed. Your aura speaks even in obscurity, and your presence speaks even in silence. Have you ever tried to blend in or go unnoticed, but somehow you still stood out? Destiny has a way of showing itself in the way you think, carry yourself, and react to situations. Although you may not always see it in yourself, others can sense it right away, which is why family members look at you a certain way and feel the weight of your assignment before you even speak. People, especially those in your family, pick up on it. They may not express it, but their spirits recognize it, and that recognition is the source of much of their resentment. Where others panic, you remain composed. Where others conform, you question. Where others settle, you continue to move forward. These differences are not just arbitrary personality traits, they are proof of a higher design. The reason you frequently feel tense in places where you have done nothing wrong is because, although they can't quite put it into words, they know deep down that you were not made to live the same life as them. You were chosen to rise higher, to walk a path they cannot follow, and instead of finding joy in your destiny, they feel threatened by it. We are building a family of light, the first 1,000 souls. Be part of it. Subscribe to Chosen Archangel, press like, and leave your word in the comments. They are uncomfortable because your destiny reminds them of what they have denied about themselves, but here's what you need to remember. You will be betraying the very reason you were sent here if you shrink your destiny to calm their fear or dim your light to calm their insecurity. Destiny cannot and should not be concealed. You were made to shine, not to hide it. Your gift will continue to make noise even if you try to keep it quiet, and you will continue to draw attention even if you try to play small. This is the nature of the chosen. It is not conceit, it is divine reality. You don't ask to be set apart, but heaven has already marked you. Destiny doesn't bargain with human opinion, it manifests whether people like it or not. David didn't ask to be anointed king, but the oil still flowed over his head. Joseph didn't ask for dreams that showed his greatness, but he did have them. Choose one. Let this be your comfort. What the divine has written cannot be undone by the resentment of family members. They may attempt to undermine you, disparage you, or disregard your achievements, but that won't alter what has already been sealed. Your destiny is in the hands of the one who chose you, not them. The beauty of it is that the very resistance you encounter is molding you into the person you must be, their rejection is strengthening your resilience, and their hatred is honing your wisdom. The same people who now make fun of you will one day see you realize your calling and will be powerless to deny it. They are teaching you to walk boldly without other people's approval. What they mean to harm you is being turned into preparation. You are learning to stand on your own 2 feet, to rely on divine strength, and to walk in purpose without approval. Therefore, do not give up when you sense resentment from your family members. Remember that this is proof of my destiny. Every time they roll their eyes at your progress or whisper behind your back, know that it is only because your light will not be hidden. Confirmation. Every time you feel that tension, let it remind you. No amount of denial on their part can change the fact that you are chosen. You don't have to shout or force it. Your life will make it clear. Your presence will proclaim it. And finally, everyone, including your family, will be forced to see it happen. Keep this in mind, Chosen One. The lessons for the chosen one are essential because being chosen is not just about carrying destiny but also about knowing how to protect it. In the following section, we will discuss the lessons you must carry as a chosen one, including how to deal with this reality wisely, how to deal with family resentment without losing your peace, and how to walk in authority without becoming bitter. This is where wisdom is needed because the chosen must not only survive but flourish. You now realize that you are marked, that envy and resentment are not random, and that destiny cannot be concealed. However, the question still stands, how do you cope with this reality? How do you act when your own family members resent you? How do you stay strong without turning bitter? The first thing you need to learn is to accept that not everyone will applaud you, that some of your family members will never applaud you regardless of how much good you do or how modest you are, and that this is a reflection of their hearts rather than your value. The second lesson is boundaries. As a chosen one, you must protect your spirit. You cannot constantly expose yourself to environments that drain you. The sooner you accept this fact, the sooner you will stop wasting energy trying to gain their approval. Your life is not a courtroom. You are not on trial. You don't need to prove your worth. Your destiny is proof enough. Forgiveness is the third lesson. Spiritual maturity means knowing when to engage and when to withdraw. It is not weakness to make space, it is wisdom. Protect your peace. Protect your energy. If you know that certain relatives are always negative, limit your access to them. You can still honor them and love them, but you do not have to allow them to poison your spirit. Allowing resentment to fester in your heart will cause you to carry the very poison you are trying to avoid. Forgiveness is not about letting people treat you badly, rather, it is about letting go of the hate and rising above it. This may sound hard, but it is essential. The fourth lesson is to stop looking for understanding from people who cannot see. Some relatives will never understand your calling because they are spiritually blind to it, and that is not your job to fix. You refuse to let their darkness dim your light. The chosen cannot afford to live a life that is heavy-hearted because that will slow your purpose. The fifth lesson is to embrace loneliness when it occurs. Being chosen can feel isolating because the crowd gets smaller as you rise in the ranks, but loneliness does not imply abandonment. Rather, it indicates that you are being prepared. You cannot force someone to see what they are not ready to see, so save your explanations and follow your own path. Eventually, your actions will speak louder than words. The sixth lesson is gratitude. Even in the middle of family strife, even when you feel misunderstood, never lose sight of the blessings around you. Gratitude keeps your heart soft. Solitude is the classroom of the chosen. It is where you grow, where you hear the divine more clearly, and where you are shaped into the person you must become. Don't resist it, embrace it. Your strength multiplies in the quiet moments. The last lesson is courage. Gratitude keeps your spirit in alignment. It reminds you that even though your family may be angry with you, heaven still loves you, you are still provided for, you are still being guided, and you are still rising. Gratitude helps you change your focus from the hurt of rejection to the joy of purpose. If the divine has chosen you, then who can unpick you? You are not here to tiptoe through life, so you must walk boldly in your calling. Stop apologizing for being different, stop shrinking to make others comfortable, and stop doubting yourself because of their disapproval. You are not meant to live in confusion, so take these lessons and keep them close to your heart. They are not just ideas, they are weapons that will protect your heart, guide your steps, and keep you steady when the storms of resentment try to shake you. You are here to boldly step into destiny, chosen one. The hatred of your relatives is not your downfall, rather, it is your training ground, where you are being sharpened, taught wisdom, and brought closer to your purpose. Therefore, do not despise the conflict, rather, make use of it. You are meant to live in clarity, not fear, and with boldness. In the next section, I will demonstrate how to turn all of this, the resentment, the pain, the envy, into growth because you were chosen to thrive, not just to survive. Let it shape you, let it build you, and let it remind you that you are chosen. And chosen ones are always refined by fire. And the exact things that were supposed to break you can end up being the things that propel you forward. Choosing to turn resentment into progress. Now that you know the lessons you need to carry, it's time to go forward. If you reflect on your life, you will see that the very opposition you have faced has already served as your greatest teacher. The truth is that the hate, envy, and conflict you have faced are not meant to destroy you, but rather to mold you. The divine always transforms what the enemy intends to harm for good. You see, resentment is like fire. It can either burn you or refine you. The first step in transformation is perception. Didn't it push you to prove yourself in silence every time someone doubted you? Didn't it strengthen your sense of identity every time a relative tried to minimize your worth? Didn't it force you to build resilience every time you felt excluded? If you are not carrying something magnificent, no one would feel the need to dislike you. Their envy is evidence that you are walking in a light they cannot ignore. You need to change your perspective on their hatred from one of rejection to one of confirmation. Resentment loses its ability to hurt you when you begin to see it as proof of your calling. Rather than questioning, why do they hate me, the second stage is to utilize their resistance as inspiration. Many chosen ones rise higher exactly because they refuse to allow the voices of doubt define them. You start by saying, "They hate me because I am chosen." Your relatives may not have encouraged you, but their silence served as the catalyst for you to discover your inner strength. You may not have had their support, but the lack of it compelled you to develop self-reliance, self-control, and faith in God. You overcame their attempts to confine you and transformed their shame into courage. By forcing you to develop muscles you would never have developed in comfort, resentment turns into growth. The third step is to refine your spirit. Resentment teaches you to be patient, to be discernment, to recognize people's true intentions without being bitter, and to love without expecting anything in return. The fourth step is to rise above pettiness. You learn to see past the facade of smiles into the reality of someone's spirit, and although it hurts at first, this discernment becomes one of your greatest weapons. It allows you to move wisely, to align with those who truly support your journey, and to distance yourself from those who secretly oppose you. You cannot put yourself on their level. If they gossip, don't gossip back. If they slander, don't retaliate. If they compete, don't play the game. The chosen rise above. Your development is demonstrated by how you outgrow the battlefield completely, not by how you fight back. The fifth step is to embrace the growth of isolation. Sometimes, even within your own family, resentment will make you feel alone, but solitude is not punishment, rather, it is preparation. It is during those times of being misunderstood that you grow closer to the divine. Let your success, your peace, and your ongoing ascent speak louder than any words. Family, our voice is rising. We are walking toward our first 1,000 subscribers. If this message speaks to you, press like, subscribe to Chosen Archangel, and comment, "I'm part of this mission." The sixth step is to let compassion win. Many chosen ones have testified that their greatest breakthroughs came after their most profound seasons of rejection. It is in those times of rejection that you find your true voice. Isolation breeds clarity, and clarity breeds power. This does not mean putting up with abuse, but it does mean not allowing hatred to infiltrate your heart. You stop taking it personally when you see that your relatives' resentment stems from their own suffering, disappointment, and fears. You see that they are battling their own issues, and even though you cannot solve them, you can let go of your bitterness and release compassion instead. The seventh step is alignment. Growth is about thriving in purpose, not just surviving hate. Use the energy of rejection to deepen your spiritual practices. Pray more. Meditate more. This keeps your heart pure and your spirit light, which is essential for your growth. When you align yourself with your purpose, their resentment becomes irrelevant, and their hate becomes background noise to the symphony of your destiny. Let me be clear, chosen one, the very thing that was meant to break you is the thing that will build you. Seek wisdom. Build your vision. Strengthen your gifts. While they are busy watching and whispering, you are busy rising. You are not here to be crushed by resentment. Rather, you are here to transform it into growth, strength, wisdom, and power. Do you sense this truth stirring in your spirit right now? Do you sense the shift? If so, type 999 in the comments section to declare that you are no longer wounded by their resentment and that it has transformed you. One day, your success will silence the very voices that attempted to silence you. The next section will show you what it looks like to walk boldly in your path once you have transformed. Because it is not enough to grow in private, you must also step into the world with courage, without apology, and with the authority of someone who knows they are chosen. That number will mark your choice today to rise higher, to grow stronger, and to turn every ounce of hate into fuel for your destiny. You were not picked merely to withstand the jealousy of family members. Now that you know how to turn resentment into growth, it's time to move forward into the stage of stepping courageously in your destiny. Growth without action is incomplete, and wisdom without courage will still keep you shackled. The first truth you must embrace is this: stop hiding your light. For too long, you may have attempted to minimize your talents, your intelligence, your success, or even your spiritual insight in order to please others. You were chosen to thrive despite it, which means that you must embark on your journey with assurance, without regret, and without hesitation. You've remained silent in places where you ought to have spoken. You've suppressed your thoughts for fear that they would perceive you as conceited. You've lowered yourself in the hopes of being accepted. But concealing your light has never brought you serenity, has it? That's because your spirit was never made to follow the crowd, but to take the lead. You must realize that your uniqueness is your power. You were not chosen to copy, to innovate, or to repeat history. To walk boldly means that you no longer dim yourself, that you stand fully in your identity, and that you embrace your uniqueness and see it as your divine strength. The second truth is consistency. Boldness is not about sporadic outbursts of confidence, but about showing up every day with unwavering faith. Your family may be watching you, waiting for you to fail, waiting for you to fall. You were chosen to rewrite it, and to do so, you must live boldly, even if it causes discomfort to others. Consistency silences doubt faster than any argument ever could. The third truth is to trust your voice. As a chosen one, you will often feel like an outlier. Your opinions may not match the crowd. Continue to build, grow, pray, and work toward your purpose. Let your life be a testimony that cannot be denied. Remember that prophets and visionaries have always been misunderstood at first. Your ideas may sound too radical, and your visions may seem impossible to others. However, trust that your voice was given to you for a reason. Speak boldly, share your vision fearlessly, and walk in the authority that comes from knowing the divine is behind you. The fourth truth is resilience. Walking courageously does not imply that the journey will be easy. It means that you will not be rattled when opposition arises, that you will not collapse under pressure, and that you will not back down when others question you. The world rejects what it cannot yet perceive, but time always reveals truth. You understand that pressure creates diamonds, and you are being refined through every trial. Resilience means you take the blows, but you keep moving. You take the losses, but you don't lose your faith. You are not fragile. You are forged in fire. The fifth truth is leadership. Chosen ones are leaders whether they want the role or not. You may not have sought leadership, but your calling demands it. Do not wait for a stage or a crown. Live a life that reflects strength and wisdom. Walking boldly means accepting that others are watching you, learning from you, and being influenced by your choices. The sixth truth is the fearlessness of being misunderstood. Leadership starts with how you carry yourself every day, in your discipline, in your integrity, and in your courage. Letting go of the need to be understood is necessary for bold walking. Your family may never comprehend your decisions or the reasons behind your chosen course, but their comprehension is not necessary for your fate. If you wait for approval, you will never be satisfied. Being bold means pursuing your goals even when no one applauds or concurs. The seventh truth is expansion. Being bold naturally increases your impact. When you stop hiding and start living shamelessly, your light becomes brighter, people outside of your circle notice, and opportunities start to open up. The only approval you need is from the person who picked you. When you walk in your full power, you summon the resources, connections, and breakthroughs required to fulfill your purpose. Chosen one. This is the stage of destiny where you stop apologizing for who you are. You no longer try to explain your greatness. You embody it. You no longer argue with resentment. The divine starts sending people who align with your calling. You rise above it. You no longer shrink in fear. You step forward in faith. This is the path of the chosen, to walk boldly even when it feels lonely, even when it feels risky, even when it feels misunderstood. Do you feel this message stirring within you? Do you feel the call to stop hiding and step fully into your identity? Then type 444 in the comments as your declaration that you are ready to walk boldly without apology, without hesitation, and without fear. This is not just a number. It is your signature, your agreement with your destiny. In the next section, we will bring everything together. We will conclude with a powerful reminder of who you are, why the resentment of your relatives cannot stop you, and how your life is about to shift as you rise into the fullness of your calling. The conclusion will seal this word in your spirit, so stay with me, Chosen One. Conclusion. Chosen One. After we have discussed the truth about you, the nature of envy, the causes of family strife, and the lessons you need to learn, it is time to bring this message full circle. Pay close attention, because this conclusion is more than just a summary, it is a seal. This is the last reminder that you should go forward fearlessly. You now understand why some of your relatives despise you, not because you have wronged them, nor because you are conceited or egotistical, but rather because you are carrying destiny, which is beyond their comprehension, control, or replication. Your very existence challenges their comfort zones, which is why they resist you. However, realize that their hatred does not negate your purpose, their resentment does not nullify your assignment, and their envy does not dim your light. Rather, their responses are evidence that you are chosen and that your calling is genuine. Your presence alone serves as a reminder of the greatness they chose to ignore. No amount of denial from others can remove the mark that the divine has placed on you, so you must rise, boldly walk in your destiny, stop looking for approval where none will be found, stop trying to appease spirits that are uneasy with your light, and stop apologizing for your greatness. You were not made to be hidden, and you were not chosen to live in silence. You were selected to stand, shine, and lead. Keep in mind that family animosity is nothing new. Joseph had to deal with it from his brothers, David with it from his own family, and even Christ was questioned and disgraced in his hometown. You are not following an unusual path. Rather, you are following in the footsteps of the great people who came before you. Their experiences demonstrate that rejection is a blessing rather than a curse. After all, if the greatest were despised, why should you anticipate any less? Chosen One, remember this: heaven never sends a word without purpose. If this message has stirred your spirit, let it shine brighter. Press like so the light spreads to others walking in darkness. Subscribe to Chosen Archangel so you never miss the next divine revelation. And share your thoughts in the comments below. Your testimony may be the very spark that awakens another soul. Until we meet again, stay covered by the wings of heaven and walk boldly in your calling.